This is getting out of hand. A young girl has been found dead in a shallow grave months after she went to visit a young man that she met online. 21-year-old Osaro Festus Edogiaweria, who they say is a fashion designer, left her home in Inyanomo community in Edo State on the 20th of April 2025. She left with a friend, according to some sources. However, she was going to see a young man for the very first time that she had not seen before. Although some blogs are reporting that this is her boyfriend, investigation is clearly leading to the fact that she did not know this young man from anywhere and that this meeting would be their first time seeing, which clearly suggests that the friend that she may have left her house with the day she was leaving was a female friend she gave the picture of the young man she was going to see to. Because before she went to see this said man by the name of Joshua Osiagovo, she gave her friend the picture of the young man. So pretty much this suggests that this was the first time Osaro was meeting Joshua. She may have not told her family members where she was going to, but sources said that she told a friend and she gave the photo of Joshua to that friend because, again, she wasn't sure what she was going to expect. But little did she know that that picture that she gave to her friend would help find her body. Because days would pass since then and Osaro would not return home. The parents, the family began getting worried. It was said that 5 days after she didn't show up, the mother had to go make a report in the police station. Now, it's not certain at what point, but somewhere along the line, according to the girl's father, they got a phone call from a man who started demanding ransom to free their daughter, kind of suggesting and indicating that Osaro Festus had been kidnapped. So the phone call and the person calling began demanding a sum of money for their daughter to be released. And it is being said that Osaro's father paid the money. It's unclear if he paid in full or if they bargained to a certain point and he ended up paying regardless. And after that payment, nothing came up. Now, it is possible that this would have been the first few days of her going to see Joshua. That would have been when the phone call was made to the parents demanding the ransom. And after they had paid and they did not hear from the so-called kidnapper, they had to go to the police station and the police started investigating. However, it would take nearly a whole month before the family and the police would come close to solving this case, because while the police were not doing so much, according to them, they were trying to trace the phone number Joshua used to call them, which they believe was one of Osaro's numbers, and they were also trying to find a lead as to where the call would have come from and how to probably locate it. While the police were doing that, Osaro's family were actively looking for their daughter, going from place to place, door to door, house to house, speaking to the friend that they said she left home with. And I think this was where the friend showed them the picture of the young man Osaro was going to meet. And I guess this is why I believe that this young man is not her boyfriend. According to some sources saying this is her boyfriend, if it's a boyfriend, they would have probably caught him. Because Joshua, the guy she went to see, was not running. He was where he was because he knew that no one knows him. In his mind, it would be hard for anybody to figure him out. So he was where he was, while the girl's parents were trying their best, checking the pictures, going from place to place to see how best they could find this young man. And eventually, after a whole month, they got to see people who knew the boy and they were able to pinpoint where the boy stayed. And that was when the family called the police, and that was when the police came and arrested Joshua. Now, when Joshua was caught and arrested, he claims that the young lady died in his hands, in his house, that they had an issue, they had an argument, and she fell and hit her head. And he panicked, put her body in a wheelbarrow, and in the middle of the night, he went into a farmland, into a bush path, and buried her in a shallow grave. The land where he buried her was not exactly far from his own house, so this was just around seemingly to look like a new layout. And then he kept her mobile phone and some of her other personal belongings. Eventually, he took the police and the family of Osaro to the shallow grave he had buried the young lady, and It was such a disheartening, horrifying situation to see them exhume the young lady's corpse, because it was just a terrifying scene to look at. The mother could not hold her tears. The father tried to hold himself. But the big question here is, how did this happen? Is this young man Joshua the boyfriend, or is this a total stranger that she went to meet online? Given the way Joshua described how the young lady died in his hands, it's looking like they know each other. Why are you arguing with somebody who has come to visit you for the first time? If you're a good person and a good host and a gentleman, why are you arguing with a girl who is coming to meet you for the first time? To the point that you guys argued and fought, and she fell and hit her head and she died. And then let's assume that story is true. You then picked up the phone and proceeded to call the family of the young lady to demand a ransom. And then they paid the ransom and you ghosted them, which we believe at this point the young lady was already dead, whether he killed her or whether she fell and hit her head. Which, by the way, I don't believe. It's lying. That is a bold-faced lie. That is a lie. It's a lie. Joshua is lying. This young lady did not fall. They were not arguing anything. He murdered her. He killed her, and he meant to do it. Another reason why I don't believe that this was an accident, and why I believe that this is a case of kidnapping and basically serial killing, is because when her body was dug out, we can't show the video here, so you would have to go to our Telegram page to see it. True Crime Daniel 3, the link will be in the description or on the bio. When the body was dug out, it looked as though she was tied up and knuckled up. Basically, her hands were tied behind her back and her both legs were folded to her chest and also tied up. This clearly indicates someone in captivity. This clearly shows that this young lady was ambushed, kidnapped, and tied up. And when it's unclear how she died, but when she eventually dies, he buries her in that position that she was tied up in. This is how you see, it's almost like how you see people who are being kidnapped and tied up in a movie, with their hands tied behind their backs and their legs squeezed up to their chest. And that was how she was buried. If she had died a free person, I don't imagine he would bury her tied up. I don't think that would have been the case. Or at most, if he wants to even tie her up, it will be the hands in front and the legs in front, more, regular, in a more freer position, not the way she was exhumed. That clearly indicates that this girl was kidnapped and tied up. So this is not the boyfriend, and she did not die by accident or by falling and hitting her head. And is the young lady made out of straw? Like, she fell and hit her head and then she died? Like, what? Was the ground slippery? Can't she stand? She doesn't have it's giving... This is a bull-faced lie. It's not a true. I don't believe a word that's coming out of this young man, because obviously when they get caught, they want to create a narrative that we absolve them of any possibility of them being the one who did the killing or who did the crime. But everything after that indicates that you clearly had the intention to kill this girl. Because what exactly would make you now want to call for ransom? It's one thing if she fell down and died and you kept quiet and you just buried her and you moved on with your life. You went on to demand ransom, and you want us now to believe that it was an accident? The police don't believe him also, and they think that there's a possibility that this was not the first time he's doing this. They want to look into the chance that he had done this to multiple girls, because this is a system we've seen before. That is a good thing with this channel. You guys can go back and watch old videos that we've done from years back, and you see that this is not the first of its kind. Men have used the internet to lure girls to their domain and end up killing, kidnapping, raping, and doing some things to these young women, and other men demanding ransom, kill them and bury them in shallow graves. We've seen this play out a whole lot. That is why when you are new to a true crime kind of story, you would take it at surface level. But to also have been in this business for 33 years and counting, we'll see the bullshit right away. And I agree that there's a chance that this young man is a serial killer. They just have to do some more digging. I feel like right there and then, if I was a police officer or if I was in the force, when I see an opportunity like this, is to go and speak to the young man. Are there any other graves here that we should look out for? Because for you to do this so smoothly, it means you most likely have done it before, or you had help, or it's not just you. This is a business. This is kidnapping. This is how Evans the kidnapper, this is what he does. Everybody know Evans the kidnapper. Not many people know that this is also, Evans the kidnapper is also a serial killer too. A serial kidnapper is a serial killer because the people you kidnap know your face. So even after you pay your ransom, they can't let go because your face, know your name, know your social media. The social media you used to lure them, they know it. And since they have plans to do it again, because again, it's business. They are making money from the ransom they are taking from the victim's family. So they don't want to jeopardize their livelihood, their chances of doing this trick again. They don't want to ruin it. So there was no way that this girl was going to go out of his house alive. There isn't. If a kidnapper does this and then unless the kidnapper picks you up from the road or comes to pick you up from your house directly, but if they use social media to get you, your chances of living their life is very tiny because they want to do it again. But if they let you go, they can't do it again because you will now go and expose their name, their profile, and what they look like. And that would mess up their business. So this is how the business go. This man knows that from the very moment he chatted this girl up, he was going to kill her if she falls into his trap. And she did. She fell into the trap. And also they should take his mobile phone and see who he has been chatting with. These are things, this is how you know. Get his phone, see all the young ladies he has been texting from TikTok, from Instagram, from Facebook, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Telegram. Find them all and you will see the chances and the possibility that this could be a thing he has been doing. Let's just see how this case go. We'll stay updated on it. So keep following and stay subscribed. This young lady killed her father in one of the most diabolic ways you could ever imagine. And just a few days ago, on the 11th of June 2025, she was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Now, listen to me. Sit down and grab your popcorn because although this story happened in South Africa, it's one of those elements that is prevalent and common in a lot of African countries, and we need to talk about it. Now, once upon a time in the Malepe family, they lived in peace and harmony. Dr. Malekutu Johannes Malepe was the father of the house, the man of the house. He was said to be the circuit manager of the Department of Education in Limpopo, South Africa. He was overseeing 12 secondary schools and 18 primary schools. He served this position diligently for 15 years. He was a good father who provided for his family and took care of everybody. Money was not his problem because he was well-to-do. Now, it's not stated how many children he had, but we know he had a daughter, 28-year-old Molagadi Magdalene Malepe. And it was clear that their relationship was good. Their father and daughter relationship seemed to do well. He appeared to be present in the life of his children, especially that of Magdalene, who is the major character in this story. You could see pictures of them spending time together and being at each other's functions and events. They had what appeared to be a simple father and daughter relationship until Magdalene lost her mother. That is until Dr. Malekutu Johannes lost his wife. Basically, the matriarch of the family died, and from then on, things started going left. But it's common for people to lose a family member, and that can lead to dispute. But how did it get to the point that this young lady, Magdalene, decided that she was going to put an end to her father's life in the worst way you could ever imagine? So, it all began from them questioning what happened to their mother. It's not clear if Dr. Johannes' wife died mysteriously. It's not clear if there was something about her death that they weren't sure about. But somewhere along the line, Magdalene went to a native doctor to inquire about what happened to her mother. She went to a native doctor to do Juju to find out if she could get answers as to who killed or what killed her mother. And when she went to meet the native doctor told her that it was your father who killed your mother. And that was it. That was the beginning of a lifelong hatred that would lead to one of the most gruesome murders you could ever imagine. And when the native doctor told Magdalene this, she believed it. She did not argue. Almost as though that was what she wanted to hear. Almost as though she had her suspicion. But it's unclear what gave it away or what gave her the suspicion. It's unclear what made her feel like it was her father who did it. And when she got this detail from the native doctor who was named, she took it to her relatives, basically from her mother's side of the family, and told them that, hey, what's up, auntie? I've gone to meet a native doctor, and the native doctor told me that it was my dad who did it. And obviously, this is her mother's family side. That's just what it is. Let me just put it out there. Unless somebody is open-minded enough to see that, okay, it doesn't make sense. When somebody loses a loved one, they are hoping and praying that it's somebody else that did the killing so that they can basically put it on someone's head. And unfortunately for Dr. Johannes, his daughter and his in-laws were already giving him the eye that he was the one behind the death of his wife. And so the first move that Magdalene and her auntie did was to tell that native doctor to kill their father, to basically kill Dr. Johannes. And the native doctor was like, say no more. I will kill this man with juju. I will kill him spiritually. The same way he killed your mother with juju is the same way I will kill him for you. Don't worry. And, you know, Magdalene is at home, the auntie, they're all waiting for the juju to walk from wherever shrine the native doctor was doing it from. And they waited and waited. Unfortunately, the man was not dying. They reached out to the native doctor and they're like, what's up? He's still moving, he's still alive, he's still jumpy. You know, I don't know, strike your mirror or blow your powder, do something, because you've not killed him yet. And that was where the native doctor told them that, yeah, that he tried, but clearly it's not working. Maybe the man is fortified or something. And at this point, Magdalene and the auntie figured out that, yeah, they would have to take matters into their own hands. Again, put in mind that there may have been other relatives that was involved in the plotting and killing of this man. However, his daughter, Mologadi Magdalene Madlepe, was the major spearhead of this game. She basically hired assassins and paid them over 200,000 rand to come to her house and pretend as though it was a robbery. From then onwards, kill the father and leave. And so on the 28th of December 2023, while Dr. Johannes was in his bedroom sleeping, waiting for 29th, waiting for 30th, basically looking forward to crossing over 2024, Magdalene opened the door, the gate, to armed robbers who came into the house. They first held her hostage and she had to act as though she too was being robbed, begging and crying for her life, acting up so that it would not look like, you know, she knew these people. And they successfully went past her, went to her father's bed and shot and killed him while he slept. Then they stole his phone, stole some of his valuables, and then they basically left. At this point, Magdalene had gotten what she wanted, to have her father killed and to have the robbers make it look like a robbery. And instantly, the police were involved and they began their investigation. At first, they were treating it as a robbery, but over time, things started to change throughout the course of their investigation. Now, it's not stated how they were able to figure it out, but from the look of things, since the man's mobile phone was stolen, I always say this, a lot of these plans, a lot of this plotting, there is always something like Ifunanya would say in her storyline, one of the downside of people who do evil is they don't get to think through it. There is always one mistake. There's always one thing that they miss out in their plot. And clearly, like we've seen in multiple true crime stories we've done, similar to plotting to kill your partner, they stole the man's mobile phone. And the police are investigating. Obviously, the first thing they will do is trace the mobile phone. And apparently, that could have been how they traced it to one of the robbers who pretty much confessed as to who sent them. And that happened to be Magdalene Madlepe. And that was how the whole case blew up. She was arrested and instantly confessed to the crime, mentioning all the aunties, all the uncles. She did not waste time pointing fingers, which is funny because at this time she may have been pregnant or may have just given birth, because when she was in court, she had a 1-year-old baby. So at this time she was plotting to kill her father, she was pregnant. Could it be the pregnancy hormones? Because she also apologized and began basically regretting her actions. So they said. Some sources, however, said she did not necessarily show remorse during the court proceedings, but she only wanted to leverage the fact that she had a baby and a little child to get away from being sentenced. But that did not work. The robbers, the native doctor, including our auntie and all the other people involved in killing this man, were all arrested and they were all taken to court. Somewhere during the court proceedings, it was now revealed that there could have been multiple underlying reasons why she wanted to kill her father. One, basically because the native doctor did tell her that yes, it was the father who killed the mother. From one juju, from one mirror, just lied on this man with no evidence, and she bought it, maybe because that's what she wants to believe. Now, Dr. Johannes also had life insurance, and she was maybe hoping that she could get part of that life insurance. It was also stated that there's a chance that after the mother died, the man moved on to another woman, and Magdalene did not like the fact that the father was spending on this woman and hated that the father was actually spending their mother's money on the woman. So pretty much she felt a type of way about the father spending their mother's money on a new woman, and those are the things that may have played a role in why she had to do what she had to do for the most part. The trial lasted for about a year, and in June of 2025, she was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison for killing her father and for 13 years for robbery. The other family members would also be tried by the end of this month, so I don't know if we're going to follow up on that, but we'll see. If something interesting comes up from that angle, we'll let you guys know. The focus of this story was just Magdalene and her father. The other relatives obviously would be punished according to their role in it and how much they were aware of the initial operation of killing the dad. And if they all took part in it, they might as well get the life sentence. And put in mind, because I also hear that life sentence in South Africa is 30 years. And if you do half of it, you could get parole. So I don't know. If that is true, then there's a chance she may have enough time to come out and live her life. But I do hope that, it all depends. Because to me, if indeed it was the native doctor's words that made her move on to do what she did, maybe it's something worth regretting. But if there is truth that she did this because of insurance, also because she wants money, then I don't know. I don't want her to come out because obviously that's criminal, in my opinion. I mean, the other one is also criminal, but at least it's just one of those things that happens to a lot of people that are brainwashed. Not an excuse, but it's very prevalent. That is why I say that although this happened in South Africa, I've seen this mentality so much, even around me, where somebody will lose somebody and then they go to a native doctor and come out with so much facts to accuse another person. It's you. You stole this. You killed her. You did this. Our gods and our juju have said it's you. Okay, how do we know? Did we hear the native doctor? Like, how did the native doctor figure this out? I know a lot of people who hate their parents, who have killed their parents, loved ones, friends, family, who have done so many horrible things to people just because a native doctor told them that the person who did it, they know the person. It's your husband, it's your father, it's your mother. We did see a story that also happened. Was it in South Africa? This was many years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where a young lady and a brother beat up their mother, set the house on fire, and threw their mother or their grandmother into the fire because they went to church and the pastor told them that the reason they are not progressing in life is because of their grandmother, or maybe mother, I don't know. Their grandmother, let's use grandmother because the lady was pretty elderly. And they heard that from church, came home to beat up their grandmother and kill her. We see this a lot. Many religious and gullible people will just go and look for answers in places that did not even call them. You go to a native doctor place to find answers as to who is doing you. What do you expect the native doctor to tell you? Why is it never you people doing yourself? Why can't it be you people doing it? Now let me ask the girl question. If the native doctor said that it was you, Magdalene, who killed your mother, would she have unalived herself? Would she have done so? Would she have unalived herself? Would she have called the armed robbers on herself? Because she would have argued. You didn't even give this man a fighting chance. You didn't even ask him questions. Even if you felt strongly that he did it, what evidence do you have? Take it to the police. Take it to court. I feel like she just needed a reason to kill her father, and she got it from the native doctor because she did not even argue. I mean, we are not saying the man did not kill the wife. It could have been, but we don't know. So when you don't know something for a fact, and you think you know, it's come with proof, come with evidence. Many Nigerians are in this table. Many Africans are in this table where they seek answers from native doctors and spiritualists, and then they hold those responses with boldness and be like, yeah, this is the truth, this is the truth, and then they act on it. And such is the repercussion to that kind of stupidity. I hope she stays in prison. I hope she stays there with her baby. But breastfeed from jail, my dear. Be there. Stay there. Your relatives are coming to join you.